Welcome back to Same Bright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to make this beautiful collar BUBU kaftan with beads at the back, as you can see right here. So this BUBU kaftan is really trending, and I'll be sharing with you the tips and tricks to making this kaftan, as you can see right here, with front strips and collar at the back with beads. So I'll teach you how to bead. Although I ran out of beads, you can see I didn't finish up the beading work, but I just felt like posting this tutorial to show you how this trendy BUBU kaftan with collar is made. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay to the end of this tutorial to learn more. So you can now get your beads and complete the process, which I will do later. I'm going to get my beads, complete the whole process, so it actually looks like what we have right there on the videos and on the thumbnail. So I encourage you to stay to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So to start off this tutorial, you'll be needing 3 yards of Ankara fabric. Okay, we are making use of 3 yards of Ankara fabric right here to make this dress, and we'll be making use of our beads. So I have different kinds of beads right here. I have the crystal beads. I also have the bigger beads. So you can see the kind of beads I have right here. So you can just go ahead and use any bead of your choice, but for this class I'll be using the bigger crystal beads. In the last tutorial I used the little one, the smaller crystal beads, but in this one I'll be using this bigger crystal beads. Okay, so this tutorial is just to show you how to go about this beaded jacket. So now the first thing we are going to do, the 3 yards of Ankara, you just simply fold it into 2 equal parts. Okay, the 3 yards, just go ahead and fold. You can see the selvage part and the selvage part, you can see them there. So you just fold it into 2 equal parts. So once you have folded it into 2 equal parts, the next thing you are going to do is to place it in another fold this way. So you actually need 3 yards, but you can see I just used 2 yards because I don't have much fabric here and I was determined to make this tutorial. So everything is the same, every process is the same. Okay, so you will be using 3 yards if you want it longer than what I have. Okay, so now once you have gotten your 3 yards and you have folded it, then we'll begin to take our measurement. So here is going to serve as both center front and center back. So our center front and center back is the same, and we are taking our measurements from this point. So the first measurement we are going to take here, we don't have actually much to take. I'll be placing my tape right here on the folded edge. I'll place my tape there, and I'm going to go down to mark out my hip line. So this is my hip line, and that is the only measurement we need for this jacket. So you'll be seeing what we'll use this hip line measurement to achieve at the end of the day. So once you have gotten your hip line from your shoulder line, the next thing we'll be doing is to take the measurement of our neckline. Okay, so my shoulder, I'll be using 16 inches for my shoulder. So once I mark 16 divided by 2 will give me 8. So once I've marked that 8, the next I have here remains my sleeve. So it depends on how long you want your sleeve to be. So here I have 14. Okay, it's okay. So if you want to reduce it to 11, you just go ahead and mark here, and at the end of the day we'll cut out, but I'm using all the 14. So once you have marked your neckline, shoulder line, and decided your sleeve, next is the neck line. So this neckline we have right here, we are going to work with 4 inches. Okay, 4 inches. So these 4 inches we have here, I'm going to, okay, let us work with 3.5, because by the time we sew 1/2 inch, we'll be having 4 inches. So I'm working with 3.5. Okay, so you can also work with 4 inches. Okay, let us just work with 4. So we have it at 4.5. It's still okay, and it does not affect anything. So once I've marked the 4 inches here as my neckline, once I've taken 4 inches as my neckline for front and back, next I will do is to come to center front and center back area, and there I'm going to take 2.5 inches. So once I've taken 2.5 inches, I'll now carry my ruler from that 2.5 on the hem. So like I said, you can make your length as longer than what I have right here. So can you see? So that is it at 4 inches. Okay, so I can also decide to add my seam allowance. When I'm cutting, I'll just add 0.5. Alright people, so I really want you to understand this tutorial. So I have to join, like I said, I was using 2 yards, but I have to join more fabric now to have the full tutorial. Okay, so you see how this is done. I really want you to know how this is done. So note that when I had only this, I took from here at 2.5 inches. Okay, because I was assuming it's my hem. So now that I've joined my fabric now, my hem, I'll be taking that 2.5 here. Can you see? So now I'll now rule this line. So please, I will advise you use a long ruler. I will advise you use a long ruler. So let me take that measurement again, 2.5. Okay, so I'll forward, or I'll direct this 2.5. I'll just do the same thing I did. Just take it all the way with my long ruler to meet up with what I have. So if I have a long ruler now, I'll just place it straight from this point at 4 inches to my 2.5. Okay, so that will be the front line. So now coming over to, I have my hip position. So note that I took the measurement from here. Okay, I had my hip position at 29. Then my actual knee, you need your actual knee measurement. Please include this. My actual knee measurement is 41, sorry. So instead of marking 41, I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll mark at 37. Can you see? This is my knee, where my knee is. I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4. So at that 4 inches, I'm going to rule a line this way. Okay, so we don't even need to mark the hip line anymore. Okay, so once I've gotten this line on my actual knee, I'll just go ahead and come to the hem. So on the hem, I'm going to mark my hip circumference divided by 4. So this is my hip circumference divided by 4, and I'll simply go ahead and add 3 inches to it. So if I add 3 inches to that point, although it's going to have a slit, so since we are going to have a slit, you might just decide to do your hip plus 2 inches. Okay, there will be a slit, so that slit there will actually help you to walk. So I'll just go ahead and do this and make a straight line. I believe you understand. So on this straight line is also, on this line I connected, it is also my hip divided by 4 plus 2 inches. Can you see? So at that point, I'll just create a little curve to it this way. So when I'm cutting now, I will cut and I'll go down this way. So these 2 inches I added is included with my seam allowance. Okay, with my seam allowance, because what we have from here should be up to at least 7 or 7.5 inches. So we have that curve right there, and that is that. So the next thing we'll do now is to cut. We're cutting from here. So like I said, I'll add 1/2 inch for my seaming allowance. So this 1/2 inch I added now, I'll be using it to stitch the strip. Okay, I'll use it for my strip to seam it at that point. just take it to the end of the dress. Okay, so once we have cut that side, like I said, there's nothing much to work on this dress. So here I will just go ahead, because it has we have a slit right here. Okay, so 2 inches is okay, but if we don't have a slit, you can do 3 inches. So since we have a slit, let me just add half an inch, okay, just to be on the safer side. So I'll just go ahead and add my half an inch, and then I will curve this way. Can you see? So that is how it's going to look like towards the end of the dress. Okay, so now we are now going to sew this dress. Okay, we are going to have both the front and the back, so at the same point. So the front and the back, we are going to open it up this way. Okay, let me just open this way, so you can just place a notch at this, so you know where the markings are. So I'll place it this way. That's exactly how we are going to have it. So that is the front dress. So where we have the notch will be the neckline. So now we are going to sew the neckline. We are going to cut the strip. So when we are going to sew the neckline, now the back does not have a slit. So anywhere you are using for the back, it won't have any slit. So the measurement of the slit now is going to be what we measure from here now, okay, to the end of the dress, times 2 plus 4 inches. Okay, 4 inches, which is going to be the strip measurement. So let me take the measurement of what I have here now. I believe you understand. So this piece is the same with the other piece. So for the strip for the front, we need to take the measurement to the end of the dress. So here I have 52 inches. So this 52 inches now, I'm going to multiply 52. I'm going to multiply 52 inches times 2. That is plus another 52. That will give me 104 plus 4 inches, okay, which will be the back neckline. Or we can just add, because we took 4 inches here, okay, so that the neck. All right, so I've multiplied it. So I'm going to add this 4 inches. Note it was when it was unfolded that we measured the 4 inches. So when you open it for the back, it becomes times 2, which is 8 inches. So now the double of what I have is 104. Neckline times 2 is 8. So here I have 1, 2. So I'm going to measure the length of my strip, which is going to form that neckline. So like I actually said, I don't really have much fabric here. So but follow these instructions, you will get it right. So I'm just using what I have here. I cut out here to serve as my strip. So this particular strip, I will hairstay it. So make sure you hairstay it. So I'll just go and hairstay it now. Okay, so I'm using the width of what I have right here on fold to serve as that strip. So I'm using 3 inches. So by the time I sew ½ inch, I'll have 2 inches, but I will prefer you use 3½ inches on fold. Okay, 3½ inches. So by the time you sew ½ an inch, you have 3 inches. So the length of this my strip is going to measure 112. Okay, so in other words, 112 will be giving us like it's giving us like 3 yards on a stretch. Okay, 3 yards on a stretch. So I'll just measure, you know, and manage what I have here to sew this strip. So I'll just use the whole length of what I have here to serve as that strip. So now I will just go ahead and hairstyle it, because the collar area actually needs to be firm. Okay, so the collar area will be firm. So let me hairstyle. All right, so I just hairstyled around the collar area. Okay, so you can hairstyle the whole of the strip if you want. Okay, but I just want to do this around the collar area because that is where I actually need this. So I put it together. Of course, I've marked the midpoint area. So when you place it back on fold, okay, when you place it back on fold, this becomes the mid line area. So the collar from the center back was 4 inches, okay, and I'll mark that 4 inches. I'll also mark another 4 inches. So that is where the back collar line is going to sit. So I'll just make notches on it because I'm going to sew inwards now and turn. So I'll just make little notch about 1/2 inch because that is what I'm going to sew the collar with. So you can also, if you're on a bigger size, you can, use 4.5 inches. So now I'll turn this collar to the back and I'm going to my machine now. I'll sew from this end to that end. Okay, so that will be the back collar. Can you see? That will be that back collar. So let me sew it now, so we'll proceed. All right, so you can see my stitchings from that point to this point, making everything 8 inches where I had my notches. So I just quickly turn it to the right side, okay, and then go back to my my ironing table. So I'm going to turn, then go to my ironing table and iron that part. So that part is going to be the part at the back. Can you see? That will be the collar area. So when you turn it, you have this area to stitch from the front strip. So let me just give it a good press now. Then we'll go ahead to sew from here to the front. Okay. So if you look very well, you can see this is the collar and this is the part that will be sewn to the front. So this is going to be at the back collar. So I'll come back with this, with my pattern. Remember I told you to make your notch, okay? So I told you to make a notch at that point, which is the shoulder line, because it's going to help us now to sew this collar appropriately. So here is my front for the boots, and you can see I have my notches right there. So now I'll come back with my collar. So I'll have to keep them this way. Then I'll come with the collar now. So this collar, you are going to place the part you stitch on the down part this way. Okay. So you can see the seam allowance here. So if you keep it on the down part, simply go ahead, pick up this from that notch. Okay, so this notch, I'm going to also make a little, apart from the notch I made, I'm going to make a little cut, like 1/2 inch. The reason I'm making this cut at 1/2 inch is because I'm going to fold this part in, okay, and run stitch on it, or I can use my hemming gum to fold it, or you can finish it up anyhow you want to finish up. But for me, I will advise you weave or set this part so that once you fold and place your hemming gum, you have a neat finishing at the end of the day. So from that point is the back, and I'll pick up this on this. Can you see? So by the time I sew from here down and hem this part, everything comes out well finished. Okay, so I'm going to sew now to the end. I'll also do the same thing, cut in here and pick up here too. Okay, and repeat the same thing I did here. Let me quickly do that. Alright, so I'm done with the neckline and I'm done with the back as well. So you can see the neckline right here. I've also hemmed this part. Okay, so like I said, you can weave and hem. So this is the neckline and this is where we are going to bead right now. So you can see I also top stitch this strip. I top stitch this strip, you can see. So I'll just go ahead and give it a good press so it relaxes in the front appropriately. Okay, so I'll just give it a good press. So the next thing we'll do now, I'm going to put this to the back and I'll match up what we have on that curvy area to the hem. So I'll just bring the back this way and I'll stitch from here. This part will be open. I'll stitch from here till where I want the slit to be. Like I said, I don't have enough fabric, so you can stop your slit like from the hem. You can stop it at 10 inches, okay, or 12 inches. So but for me, I'll just stop it a little somewhere here. So I'll close up this side now, then I'll go in and hem this area too. Just fold it in, okay. Then we'll start the beading process. Now I'm done with the ironing. Okay, so I've made sure I iron everything and have given it a good press. So here you can see the collar at the back. You can see it's neatly finished. And the side, you see the side is open. I've hemmed it all the way to where we have the slits. Okay, so this is where we have the slit. So I just have a little slit to demonstrate this class. Okay, I really need to, you know, make this class, so I have to use what I have here. So when you are doing that, just simply use 3 yards and you'll be able to get your length and all that. So you can see the curvy area. I made sure I made notches on this curve. Okay, from the inside I made notches on the seam line and ironed it out. Okay, so this is it, and I have the same this way as well. So now I'm going to turn this dress to the back because it's time for us to start beading, and this is the main business of this tutorial. So you'll be turning it to the back and you make sure it's well arranged. Okay, so once you make sure it's well arranged, the next we'll do is to start beading. Right now I've gone ahead to get my bead. Like I told you when we started this tutorial, I want to use the bigger bead. So your bead is your choice. Okay, the choice of your bead is by choice. So here I have bigger beads. So since I'm working with bigger beads right now, I'll just go ahead. This is how it comes in the market. So you just go to the market, choose the bead of your choice. So just choose the bead of your choice. So I'll just exhaust what I have right here. When I get more beads, I'll finish up the tutorial. So the needle I'm using is the needle that matches up with these beads. So you have to make sure that the needle number you are using passes freely. Can you see? So it has to pass freely on the whole of the bead. Then I'll now go ahead to start the beading process. So it depends on, I want to start the beading process from the tip of the neckline, as you can see right there on the thumbnail. So I just start it from the tip, as you can see this way. So I doubled my thread also. I doubled my thread. So just to make my thread longer. So it depends on the bead you are working with and the needle you are working with too. That will actually tell us. So you can just make a knot before you start, but I think I've already knotted the needle. So I just pass my thread from there and I'll start picking my beads. Okay, as usual, I'll start picking my beads. So if you are a beginner, you know it will be in beading, so it might be actually be difficult for you to go pick your beads the normal way they are picked this way. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and fill in the beads. Okay, I'll just fill in the beads. Okay, so I want to be a little more faster with this work right now. So you need to drop this bead the way you want it. If you want it curvy like we have in the first video, you can do that. If you want it straight, then you need to reduce your bead. Okay, I believe you understand. So mine, I need mine curvy. So as curvy as you want it, that is how you are going to have it. So I'm going to stitch to have my first line of bead. Can you see that? So I've stitched to have my first line of bead. So you have to make sure you have that part, hold it down appropriately. Okay, don't give any space at all to it. Then you can now go ahead and make a knot. So I'll just go ahead and make a knot. So you have to be careful so your thread does not tangle. Alright, so once I'm done with that first one, then I'll now choose where next. Okay, so this beading is your discretion anyway, so you can decide to cut your thread. You can also decide to continue the thread, okay, this way. So but I'll prefer to cut, for you to cut the thread and start another one, but for the purpose of this tutorial I just want to be fast. Okay, so I'll be able to show you what it looks like. I'm done with the second one. Okay, so as you are putting your beads or placing your beads, make sure it follows the same dropping. Can you see? So you can see how mine dropped. So at this point I think what I have on my bead is okay for the kind of drop I want. Then I'll also use my eye to check the distance I have from here to here. I don't need to go measuring it, but once you use your eye, you'll be able to target where exactly this bead will be. So I think this is where it is, while this one follows this other one. Okay, so now I'll just put it back. Although I was supposed to place it on top, I'm actually sorry about this, but I just believe you understand what I did here. So the bead is actually supposed to be on top. So once I'm done with that, I'll just knot. Okay. Okay, so I'm knotting this part because I want to start up another thread line. So I will keep doing this that way till I fill up my beads. But unfortunately, I don't have enough beads right here. So another thing I want to show you, because after this one, if I fill up my thread now, I'll come to the hip area. That's, I'll start from the, I'm supposed to be beading and keep going, okay? But because of the less bead I have, I'll just go ahead and do this. This is the back. Can you see how I brought it closer? I just made like a V to it. Okay, so just this distance, the distance I have here is wider than what I have here. So I'll just use my eye to check where I have the hip area. So of course, you know, the hip area was somewhere around here. So I'll just start my beading once again, positioning this way. Just make a V, a little V, you know, as if it's, you know, coming together. And I'll start my beading here Now, like I earlier said, towards the hip area. Okay, so this is my hip area, so I'll have to make sure I have this straight and I have this arranged. Okay, so make sure you arrange it, or else. So, and I make sure I have this well arranged on the shoulder line. So you have to make sure they are all arranged on the shoulder line. So you now make that V I thought of on the hemline, okay, on the hip line, I mean. So this is it, and I'll start up my beading on that area too. So I'll just bring it a little more closer, just lift it a little more closer. So it all depends on how close you want it to be. So I just want mine to be a little closer this way. So I'll now go ahead and bead. Okay. Alright people, so this is all my bead can take for now. Okay, that's all I have on my bead. I ran out of beads, so I have to make only 4 steps. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like, the 4 steps for the upper part, and I made another 4 steps at the down part. So definitely you have this straight this way, but once you wear it on your body, it tends to, you know, go or sack this way. Can you see? So don't worry about it when you are beading and you happen to have it, you know, go straight this way. Okay, so definitely it's going to take this normal shape. So this is how we come to the end of this tutorial, and I believe this class was helpful to you. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you once again.